But let me tell you, especially in films, as against theatre, film is not an actor's medium at all. It's a director's medium. A very fine actor and a bad director can make a very bad film. But a fine actor and a bad director can make an excellent theatre. Because in theatre, the first performance belongs to actor. Till dress rehearsal, director may do anything. Tomorrow you go and it's the actor. What do you do? I'm a good actor. Okay, I do all kind of stuff which is required. And then you go to the editing table and you find that you are not there at all in the frame. What do you do? So it's overrated, especially if you are considering film acting. It is needed so that there is a rapport between the director and an actor. So that actor understands. Like when you are on stage and you are playing to 1,000 people, you know the last row is about 50 meters from you and the first row is about 1 meter. And then you have to effectively deliver the goods so that the first person in the first line doesn't feel that you are overacting, and the last person in the last row doesn't feel that you are underacting. So you have to have an average mean and use your entire body and projection of voice and everything. Whereas you come to a medium like television, where most of the television are in close-ups and mid-shots, not like long shots in films. And there you have to have such a fine control over your muscles, right? And if you want to show the gradations of smile and happiness, and in theatre if you show like this, you certainly can't do that on television. It's a twitch of a muscle which can communicate. So for that purpose you do need some training in acting, but that is, so what is important in training of an actor when you train him for a film medium is not how to act, but how he has to be aware and sensitive to the medium. He knows it's not his acting, it's the way camera is going to perceive it. And that's what he should be aware of. Whereas in theatre, he has to be aware of how 2,000 eyes are going to perceive it. Whereas here, camera is just one eye, which represents those 2,000 eyes or 5,000 eyes, whatever. This is the difference of technique of the medium. And for him to know that, you have to train actors in film. The primary training is not how to emote. Yes, of course, everybody has to know it. Anyway. But how to emote for a camera is quite different from how to emote for theatre. So acting is one of the courses, neither more nor less important than other courses.
Is there any criteria one needs before one can join this institute?
One of the major criteria is that we must have enough number of seats. That's the major criteria. That's how all admissions are controlled. Yeah. It's not possible to admit every eligible or a good candidate because we don't have enough number of seats.
What is a good candidate in your opinion?
Now, there again you will find there is not a foolproof method. For admission not only to Film Institute, for admission to any discipline, whether medicine, engineering, because any system you adopt has certain lacunae and gaps, and sometimes good candidates fail through that gap, and the system is not able to detect. And so I wouldn't say we have a foolproof system, but we have effective system comparatively to minimize those gaps. And basically it starts because, as you know, we really have to screen large number of people because of our population. One, because people are very romantic about films. They don't realize the difference between the interest and ability. And everybody says, I want to join Film Institute because I'm interested. But that certainly can't be the only criteria. Otherwise, we would have to turn every school into a film school. There are so many people who are interested. So we really have to check interest upon ability. So if you say, for instance, you come, that you have been interested in cinema and particularly say cinematography, then what I would ask you is for how many years you've been interested. And if you say 5 years, then I ask you, oh really, good. So have you taken any photograph? And you say, no, I'm poor, I don't have a camera. So I said, okay, then have you borrowed a camera from somebody? No, I don't like to borrow. I said, okay, fine. But then which town you come from? You come from Delhi, you come from Copenhagen. Oh, wonderful. Then Copenhagen is a big city and there are a number of exhibitions, photographic exhibitions. How many exhibitions have you seen? I said, no, I have not seen any exhibition. Then I start doubting your interests. And anybody who is interested generally takes a step. He doesn't wait to be admitted anyway. So what we do basically, we have a first level screening, which is done as a papers, 2 papers, one in general knowledge, one in specific area of interest. These are simple questions. And then we try to filter through. It's in the evening. This happens for 4 days. And then we have interview. Each candidate is interviewed on the orientation which he had. And that's how finally we select. And we have a subject expert. If it's cinematography, we have a good cinematographer, besides director.
How do you manage your life then? Because you seem to be very busy in both professions, A as a director and B as an actor. How do you find time to manage both?
I meet people like you who have done business management and time management, and everything boils down ultimately that whatever you have to do in life, you have to manage your chunk in 24 hours, right? So when you accommodate something else, you delete something else. It's always that. And fortunately, it has never conflicted earlier, because when I was studying medicine and I came to realization that I need to continue my acting, the way I chose my life was, instead of opening my private practice, which generally is done in the evenings in India, I opted for a full-time job in a medical college. So I had 2 advantages. One, I had fixed hours of duty. That's from 9 to 5. Second advantage, all my patients were used that it's not one doctor, but it's a team of doctors which work. So they didn't get a shock if they don't get the same doctor. And then that way I kept all my evenings free to act in theatre. And so it was like having 2 legs, left and right. So people ask me even, what is your preference, whether you like acting more or medicine more? I say, I never had this kind of a problem, because I never had to face whether I like my right leg better than the left leg or right eye better than the left eye. I said, I like to walk, so I need both legs. And depending upon the time at which you look at me, either you will see right in front or left in front. So that's how I've been managing. But when I took this job as a director of Film Institute, I certainly had to temporarily withdraw from my other job, which was the director of Mental Health Institute. But that's also a training center, and I also had to deal with students. And the psychology of students, whether they are studying medicine or film, there's certain common elements. So that comes handy. And that's the way presently I've adjusted. So I don't work at the hospital anymore. It's a kind of a long sabbatical. So what I used to do in hospital in terms of running a department or an institute, I do at the Film and Television Institute, and I still continue with my acting. If there are people who still cast me and like and think that I can act, acting is a dependent art. Somebody has to write, then somebody has to think that he will produce, then he hires a director, and the